I knew of God and of Christ from a very young age. And at 10 years old, I lost my father to a heart attack in his sleep. I began to sue God. I began to tell him that I didn't appreciate him taking my father away from me, that we were supposed to be in a relationship with each other, and this is not how people treat each other. So that was the first time I started running as far and as fast from God as I could, because I was angry with him from a young age. Something was missing in my life that early, even at 10 years old, and I felt like it was the hole that was left by my father. So I began to eat. Food took his place. I was 18 years old, and I was about 6'2" and weighed 380 pounds. By the time I turned 23, I was up to 420 pounds, so 6'2", 420. And it was time for me to do something about that. So I elected to have Roux-en-Y gastric bypass, which is weight loss surgery. Everything was fine for a few years. I dropped about 250 pounds in the first 18 months to 2 years. Then I began to have complications, and off and on for about 3 years I spent going to the hospital on a regular basis for surgery, major surgery. When you spend that much time in the hospital, obviously in pain and suffering, the doctors have a remedy for that, and they began a regular regimen of narcotics. By the time I had everything taken care of internally, my new problem was that when I was released from the hospital, I was addicted to pain medication, heavy pain medication, the kind they give cancer patients. April of 2011, I had an accident driving my vehicle under the influence of narcotics. I hit 3 parked cars and a telephone pole. I woke up in the hospital without any police there, no tickets, no nothing, went home. And they informed me that I had been a victim of drunk driving. So I thought everything was okay. I got my truck replaced, started going through the motions of putting things back together, all the while still self-medicating. And it was suggested to me that I go to somewhere to get some help. So I began the process of going to the Waterfront Rescue Mission. And that was a painful process too, sometimes it is. Anybody that's been through opiate withdrawal fears it, and rightfully so, because it was one of the lowest points I can remember in my life was detoxing at the Waterfront Rescue Mission downtown. I began to attend chapel and become reintroduced to my God, who I had not seen or spent any time with in many years, ever since I was a young child. But that's when I decided to rededicate my life to Christ and to begin thanking Him for the journey He put me through. I was 2 weeks away from moving on to that second phase in the program when the Pensacola Police Department showed up at the Waterfront Rescue Mission downtown and put me in handcuffs. The wreck that I had had in April of 2011 was hunting me down. I was sentenced to a year in jail at that point. So when I hit the jail, the first thing I did was lay down in my bunk bed and request a Bible. And I spent the next 10 months of my life fasting and praying and reading the Word of God in His direction. The sense of peace that I had in a place like that was overwhelming. It was unexplainable. But coming out of that situation, I went straight back to the Waterfront Rescue Mission, started my program over, gratefully that they would have me back, continued to move through the different phases of the program. Right now where I'm at is the 3rd phase, it's the final phase. I graduate actually in about a month. I've registered for full-time at the Baptist College of Florida, one of the classes I'm taking here, and I'm on my way to pursuing a degree, a bachelor's in music for contemporary worship. Knowing that God was in my life through all of those events, all throughout, that He allowed me to make mistakes, and He loved me enough to continue pursuing me, even though I thought I knew what was best for me. He's had His hand on me for a long time, and I pray that He will continue to have His hand on me for the rest of my life. And I am eternally grateful to Him for that.